Hi, you're listening to Everyday Superpower, a place where you can learn to understand the benefits of being able to read body language and nonverbal communication. Here you'll be able to learn how to understand if somebody is lying, or attracted to you, or repulsed by you purely through what their mind tells their body to do on a subconscious level. They won't even know what they're telling you, okay? Such as learn about yourself and the signals you send out, alright, without you even knowing about it. It'll all start to make complete sense when you start to have a quick deep through all of these videos. So if you enjoy what you hear and you want to learn more, click subscribe. Right, so today's lesson is going to be regarding nail biting or picking of the nails. Okay, as you can see in the picture before you, this particular behaviour is something I'm very familiar with purely as I do it. Okay, so this is one of my responses in the face of anxiety and stress. Okay, I'm a big nail picker, so I can speak quite confidently on this. So this behaviour is a negative nonverbal cue, and it's in response to anxiety, alright? So it's a pacifying and self-soothing behaviour, alright? It's a fidgeting or a mouthing of the fingers, alright? So it's the sucking of a dummy or potentially a mother's breast. It's a regressive behaviour which takes you back to that childlike state, okay, that comfortable state as to when we were younger, which we still apply to our lives, but in a more indirect manner, as sucking on our thumb or sucking on a dummy or a pacifier wouldn't necessarily be societally acceptable when we're grown up. So we're speaking purely on nail biting. I myself have a problem with the picking of the nails, more so than the nail biting, alright? So in regards to the nail biting, the touching of the mouth relieves tension, okay? So you can apply this when we spoke about objects in the mouth. It could also be a pen, it could be a cigarette. As you can see, people chew on pens just like the mouthing of the fingers, alright? And this is the same purpose. We've got loads of nerve endings on our lips which trigger a positive surge of endorphins to the brain once touched. So this is why it's called a self-soothing behaviour. When we touch ourselves, it may refer back to a time when we were younger, or it just might generally feel good on a biological level. Our skin in the areas to which we've touched creates that surge of comfortable endorphins, which just makes us feel better and fights off that stressful, attack which is taking part in the brain. So you can also consider it a mouth blocking behaviour too, so it's a covering of the mouth. So let's say you see this behaviour in real time. You yourself are speaking in front of an audience and you say something which somebody doesn't agree with. They may look at you whilst biting their fingers, pacifying themselves, but also doing it as a way of covering the mouth because they want you to close yours. They're looking at you thinking, I wish they'd shut up, alright? So that's a mouth blocking behaviour. A mouth blocking behaviour will sort of come into effect when somebody doesn't want to talk and is blocking the mouth to talk, or has said something they don't want to say. Another regressive behaviour is when we're children, we cover our mouths up when we say something silly, but as we grow up we continue to do it, but we just create more indirect means of doing it, alright? So it also can bounce on the person as to whom they're watching. They'll put themselves in your shoes and think, wow, I wish they'd shut up, and cover their mouth in response to that. Alright, so to sum it up, this behaviour represents insecurity, anxiety and potential worry. Alright, because what have we learned? The touching of the lips creates a positive response in the face of threat. It feels good to do. Alright, we've found that this is a pacifying behaviour in the same way that a child will put stuff in their mouth to calm themselves down, such as a dummy or a pacifier, or potentially the mother's nipple. Alright, So this is what this behaviour represents. It's a behaviour we've taken from our youth, which still exists to this day. Okay? I know I didn't speak too much in regards to the picking of the nails, because it seems to be a little less common. So I've decided to focus primarily on the biting of the nails. But realistically, you know, aside from the mouth behaviour, it tends to be the same. It's a reaction to stress, and I'll speak in regards to myself. When I act on this behaviour, I catch myself doing it well within the action, okay? So it doesn't come to mind, I am going to pick my nails. It doesn't come to mind. My hands will work by themselves as I continue, either in a state of thought or, you know, looking out the window. I used to do this a lot whilst travelling on public transport, alright? So when I was on the bus, I'd be looking out of the window, and by the end of it, I would realise that I've, you know, done quite a number on my hands. Perhaps that was in the face of, you know, social anxiety and having so many strangers around me. It might have been a response in regards to that, or purely I've had the time to think about, quite stressful thoughts. What am I going to do next? What am I going to do? Perhaps I'm going to work and I don't necessarily want to. Perhaps I'm late, and so on and so forth. So I hope this was an interesting lesson. I was happy to add input of my own experience. It just goes to show that these behaviours do happen. They are real, and they do happen outside of your conscious awareness. So when you pay attention to people acting in such manners, and when you're able to read them properly, you will understand how people are without them even perhaps knowing themselves. Okay, so thank you very much for watching once again. If you like what I do and you want to keep up with my videos, click subscribe. Thanks.